happened to the iconic black bands of the 1970s? From the electrifying grooves of the Jobs to the soulful harmonies of the Stylistics, these groups defined a generation before fading into the background. Join us as we explore the rise, legacy, and mysterious disappearances of 20 legendary bands from this transformative decade. The JBs. Formed in 1970 following the departure of James Brown's earlier band, the JBs set the stage for a revolution in funk music. With virtuoso talents like Bootsy Collins on bass and Fred Wesley on trombone, the band redefined groove with hits such as Pass the Peas and Doing It to Death. Their performances brim with unparalleled energy and rhythm, captivating audiences worldwide. Beyond their collaborations with James Brown, the JBs achieved their own acclaim, crafting albums that remain benchmarks of funk excellence. Yet, as Brown's influence waned by the late 1970s, the JBs faced dwindling prominence, eventually disbanding in the mid-1980s. Despite this, individual members like Wesley and Maceo Parker continued to shape the funk landscape, working with legendary artists and pushing the genre forward. Their legacy endures as a testament to their creative brilliance and trailblazing spirit. The Chai Lights. Hailing from Chicago, the Chai Lights became a beacon of soulful storytelling, with their heartfelt ballads and smooth R&B style. Hits like Have You Seen Her and Oh Girl resonated deeply with listeners, embodying themes of love, loss, and longing. Formed in 1959, the group's original members, Eugene Record, Robert Lester, Creedle Jones, and Marshall Thompson, crafted harmonies that captured the emotional depth of the human experience. Despite their meteoric rise in the early 1970s, changes in the lineup, including the departure of Eugene Record, began to impact the group. Marshall Thompson remained steadfast, keeping the Chai Lights' legacy alive even as the original members moved on. Their timeless music continues to evoke nostalgia and admiration, proving that true artistry transcends time. The Stylistics. The Stylistics epitomize the essence of Philadelphia soul, delivering timeless ballads that still resonate today. Songs like Betcha by Golly, Wow, and You Make Me Feel Brand New showcase their unique blend of lush orchestration and emotional depth. Formed in 1968, the group featured Russell Tompkins Jr., Herb Merle, Arian Love, James Smith, and James Dunn. Their music was driven by Tompkins' ethereal falsetto, which became their hallmark sound. However, the departure of producer Tom Bell in 1974 marked a turning point. Without Bell's creative guidance, the group struggled to replicate their earlier success in the US, though they remained a beloved act in the UK. Over time, lineup changes added further challenges, but their early work remains iconic, a shining example of the power of soul music. The Dramatics. Detroit's own The Dramatics became synonymous with soul music in the 1970s, delivering hits like In the Rain and What You See Is What You Get. Their journey began in 1964 with Ron Banks, Larry Demps, Albert Wilkins, Willie Ford, and William Weegee Howard forming the original lineup. Known for their emotional storytelling and smooth harmonies, the Dramatics stood out in an increasingly competitive music scene. Their success brought several gold-certified records, but internal changes and the loss of key members over the years took their toll. Despite these challenges, the Dramatics' influence remains profound, inspiring countless soul artists and touching the hearts of fans worldwide. LaBelle. When it comes to fearless reinvention, few groups can rival the impact of LaBelle. Originally known as Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, the group transformed themselves into a powerhouse of creativity, blending soul, funk, and rock with an unmatched boldness. Patti LaBelle, Nona Hendrix, and Sarah Dash created a sound and style that were unapologetically ahead of their time. Their 1974 hit Lady Marmalade became a cultural phenomenon, celebrated for its infectious energy and empowering message. Known for their avant-garde costumes and electrifying performances, LaBelle set a new standard for artistic expression. After disbanding in 1976 to pursue solo careers, each member found success, particularly Patti LaBelle, who rose to international stardom. Their 2008 reunion album, Back to Now, reignited their magic, reminding the world of their groundbreaking contributions to music and culture. The Delfonics. Hailing from Philadelphia, This soul ensemble became renowned for their velvety harmonies and timeless hits like Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time and La La Means I Love You. Formed in 1965 by brothers William and Wilbert Hart alongside Randy Kane, the group later welcomed Major Harris to the fold. With producer Tom Bell crafting lush arrangements and heartfelt lyrics, the Delfonics carved out a defining role in the Philadelphia soul movement. Their golden era in the late 1960s and early 1970s brought chart-topping success and critical acclaim. However, by the mid-1970s, shifts in the lineup and Bell's departure to pursue other ventures led to a decline in their mainstream appeal. While Wilbert and William Hart went on to lead separate iterations of the group, their legacy as pioneers of soul music endures. The Moments, this Washington, D.C.-based trio captured hearts with their heartfelt R&B ballads, including Love on a Two-Way Street and Sexy Mama. Established in 1965, the group comprised Al Goodman, Billy Brown, and Harry Ray. Their romantic melodies and smooth harmonies quickly garnered a devoted fan base. In 1978, after navigating legal challenges, they rebranded as Ray, Goodman, and Brown, and achieved continued success with hits like Special Lady. Although Harry Ray briefly pursued a solo career in the 1980s, he returned before his untimely passing in 1992. The deaths of Goodman in 2010 and Ray in 1992 marked the gradual fading of the original lineup's star. Nevertheless, their soulful sound continues to resonate as a hallmark of R&B history. War, with their funky blend of jazz, rock, soul, and funk. War emerged as a groundbreaking band in the late 1960s. Formed in Long Beach, California, the group included notable talents like Eric Burdon, Howard Scott, and Lonnie Jordan. They struck gold in the 1970s with unforgettable tracks like Lowrider, Why Can't We Be Friends, and Spill the Wine. Despite their groundbreaking sound and chart success, internal discord and lineup changes plagued the group. Tragedy further struck with the murder of saxophonist Charles Miller in 1980 and the passing of percussionist Papa D. Allen in 1988. By the 1990s, the original lineup had splintered into factions, with Lonnie Jordan leading a new iteration under the War name, while others formed the Lowrider Band. War's revolutionary sound still inspires fans and musicians alike. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Founded by Maurice White in 1969, this legendary ensemble blended funk, soul, jazz, and rock into a genre-defying musical experience. Boasting hits like September and Shining Star, the group earned a place in music history as one of the most influential bands of the 1970s. Over time, Earth, Wind, and Fire saw multiple lineup changes. Maurice White retired from performing in the 1990s due to health issues, passing away in 2016, while other original members such as Wade Flemons and Roland Bautista also departed. Yet the band, led by Verdine White, Philip Bailey, and Ralph Johnson, continues to perform and captivate audiences worldwide. Their enduring impact on music remains undeniable. The main ingredient, a soul and R&B trio from Harlem, New York, first captured hearts in 1972 with their smash hit Everybody Plays the Fool. Formed in 1964 with members Donald McPherson, Luther Simmons Jr., and Tony Sylvester, the group's smooth harmonies and heartfelt melodies defined the era. When McPherson tragically passed in 1971, Cuba Gooding Sr. stepped in as lead vocalist, propelling the group to greater heights with tracks like Just Don't Want to Be Lonely. Yet as music trends evolved, lineup changes hindered their success. Gooding Sr. left in 1977 to pursue a solo career, but returned for reunions before his passing in 2017, closing the chapter on the original lineup. Ike and Tina Turner Revue, a powerhouse duo, set the music world ablaze in the 1970s with their electrifying live performances. Formed in 1960, their high-octane shows brought together Tina's unmatched vocal prowess and stage charisma with Ike's Kings of Rhythm Band, creating a sound and energy that captivated audiences worldwide. Hits like Proud Mary and River Deep, Mountain High became anthems of their era, cementing their place in music history. Behind the scenes, however, their relationship was far from harmonious. Tina endured years of abuse, which ultimately led her to leave Ike in 1976, a courageous move that marked both a personal and professional turning point. Tina's solo career skyrocketed, earning her global recognition as one of the greatest performers of all time, while Ike's struggles with legal troubles and personal demons overshadowed his later years. He passed away in 2007, leaving a legacy intertwined with both musical innovation and personal tragedy. The Jackson 5, originating from Gary, Indiana, were nothing short of a cultural phenomenon during the 1970s. Under the management of their strict father, Joe Jackson, brothers Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael captured hearts with their youthful energy and infectious tracks like I Want You Back and ABC. Their meteoric rise to stardom made them one of the first African-American groups to achieve mainstream success, breaking barriers and redefining pop music. However, creative differences and a desire for greater artistic freedom led them to leave Motown Records in 1975. Transitioning to Epic Records, they rebranded as the Jacksons and continued producing hits, but the shift marked the beginning of a new era. Michael's burgeoning solo career, highlighted by groundbreaking albums like Off the Wall and Thriller, eventually eclipsed the group's efforts, signaling the decline of the original Jackson 5. Their impact on pop and R&B remains indelible, with their music continuing to inspire generations. The Spinners, hailing from Ferndale, Michigan, were a cornerstone of the R&B scene in the 1970s. Known for their smooth harmonies and heartfelt lyrics, they delivered timeless classics like I'll Be Around and Could It Be I'm Falling in Love. The group's journey began in 1954, and their rise to fame was marked by a commitment to their craft and a unique ability to connect emotionally with audiences. As the years passed, however, the departure of lead vocalist Philippe Wynne in 1977 disrupted their momentum. While the group continued to perform and release music, lineup changes and evolving music trends made it difficult to maintain their earlier success. Despite these challenges, their contributions to soul music remain a vital part of the genre's golden era, their timeless hits standing as a testament to their artistry. The Commodores, a trailblazing funk and soul band, began their journey at Alabama's Tuskegee Institute in 1968. The original lineup, featuring Lionel Richie, Thomas McClary, William King, and others, brought an unmatched energy to the music scene with hits like Brick House, Easy, and Three Times a Lady. Richie's songwriting and vocal talent were instrumental in the band's ascent to stardom. By the early 1980s, Richie chose to pursue a solo career, leaving an indelible mark but signaling the end of the group's original era. Other key members also departed, and while the Commodores continued with new additions, their peak success proved difficult to replicate. Nevertheless, their music remains iconic, a defining sound of the 1970s that continues to resonate. MFSB, Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, a collective of elite studio musicians, was the backbone of the Philadelphia soul sound in the 1970s. Their collaborations with artists like the O'Jays and Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes brought forth some of the era's most memorable tracks. Their instrumental hit, TSOP, The Sound of Philadelphia, not only became the theme song for Soul Train, but also topped the charts in 1974, marking a high point for disco and soul fusion. Internal disputes and the decline of disco in the late 1970s led to their disbandment in 1985. Despite this, their work laid the foundation for countless artists and remains a cornerstone of the era's musical innovation. Royce, an R&B sensation from Los Angeles, soared to fame with Car Wash, the theme song for the 1976 film of the same name. Formed in 1973, the band, led by vocalist Gwen Dickey, delivered hits like Wishing on a Star and Love Don't Live Here Anymore, earning critical acclaim and commercial success. Yet as musical trends shifted in the 1980s, internal conflicts and Dickey's departure in 1980 marked the beginning of their decline. Despite these challenges, their legacy endures through their iconic tracks, which remain staples of the R&B genre. Could the departure of key members have been as transformative for Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes as it was for Royce? This Philadelphia soul group, fronted by Harold Melvin and featuring the legendary Teddy Pendergrass, captivated audiences with heartfelt ballads like If You Don't Know Me by Now. Their success in the 1970s redefined the genre, yet as Pendergrass embarked on a solo career, the group struggled to maintain its prominence. Despite these difficulties, their music continues to resonate, a testament to their enduring artistry. Bernard Wilson, Lawrence Brown, and Lloyd Parks were key figures in the success of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, but it was Teddy Pendergrass's commanding vocals that truly defined their rise to fame. In 1976, Pendergrass made the bold decision to pursue a solo career, marking a pivotal shift for the band. His departure left a significant void, and despite introducing new lead singers like David Ebo and later Gil Saunders, the group struggled to recapture their previous glory. While Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes continued to perform with various lineups, Harold Melvin's passing in 1997 brought their story to a close. Their timeless contributions to soul music and their unforgettable ballads ensure their legacy endures. Mandrill, a pioneering funk ensemble, was formed in 1968 in Brooklyn, New York by brothers Carlos Liu and Rick Wilson. Renowned for their fusion of funk, jazz, and Latin influences, their innovative sound set them apart in the 1970s. Hits like Fence Walk and Ape is High showcased their distinctive style and creative flair. The group's lineup featured a roster of talented musicians who shaped their groundbreaking sound. However, as time went on, internal changes and shifts in the music industry led to a decline in their prominence. By the mid-1980s, many original members had departed to pursue individual careers. Nevertheless, the Wilson brothers continued to uphold the Mandrill name, performing and recording with new members. Though their later years didn't mirror their initial impact, Mandrill's contributions to funk and jazz remain a significant chapter in musical history. The Emotions, a soulful R&B trio hailing from Chicago, captivated audiences with their rich harmonies and chart-topping hits. Formed in 1968 by sisters Wanda, Sheila, and Jeanette Hutchinson, the group began as a gospel act before transitioning to R&B and disco. Their collaboration with Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire played a pivotal role in their breakthrough. Their signature hit, Best of My Love, soared to #1 in 1977, earning them a Grammy Award and cementing their place in music history. Despite their success, the shifting tides of the 1980s music industry posed challenges. Record label struggles and changing audience tastes made it difficult for the group to sustain their momentum. By 1985, the original trio ceased performing regularly, though the Hutchinson sisters occasionally reunited for special events. While they no longer perform as a cohesive group, their music remains a touchstone for R&B and disco enthusiasts. The Blackbyrds, a groundbreaking jazz-funk collective, emerged in 1973 in Washington, D.C., under the guidance of trumpeter Donald Byrd and his Howard University students. Original members included Kevin Toney on keyboards, Keith Kilgo on vocals and drums, Joe Hall on bass, Alan Barnes on saxophone and clarinet, and Barney Perry on guitar. Their smooth, groove-laden tracks, such as Walking in Rhythm and Rock Creek Park, blended elements of jazz, funk, and R&B, earning them widespread acclaim in the 1970s. However, as disco waned and musical trends evolved in the 1980s, the group faced challenges. Many members chose to focus on individual pursuits, leading to the dissolution of the original lineup. Despite their breakup, the Blackbyrds' music continues to resonate, frequently sampled by contemporary artists and celebrated by fans, keeping their innovative spirit alive.